Hey guys, what's going on? It's Gunnar here. Welcome back to the channel. Now today, I'm going to talk a little bit about a beginner filming camera setup. Now there's a lot of guys that are really into filming their hunts now, and I think that's a great thing because that's exactly how I started filming in the outdoor industry. I started filming my own hunts. That is exactly how I got my own start. That's how I got familiar with figuring out how to run cameras, what looks cool, and copying what a lot of guys and a lot of shows in the industry were already doing. Trying to figure out, okay, what works for me, how I can manage this with my income first and foremost, what I have for gear as far as getting it in and out of the stand, and what I know how to use. So I'm going to kind of go over basically how I started, what I got my start with, and what I used to begin with, and how that's kind of evolved over the years and how it became a little bit more of a professional kit, and how I make part-time living based on filming in the outdoor industry, filming TV shows, filming YouTube content for different brands and things like that, creating assets and photos and video content for different brands to run as ads, to use as promotion on social media, things like that, and how you guys can do that too, or if you can just utilize some of this stuff to build out your solo filming kit, that's awesome too, and I hope that helps you guys. But first and foremost, everybody's kind of gonna be intrigued by the camera setup. What works, what I use to begin, and what's affordable, right? So basically, first and foremost, this is my camera that I've used since about 2019. This is a Sony a7 III full frame DSLR camera. Now, this camera I got just after I purchased a brand new a6400, which is a crop sensor camera. Now, that was kind of your vlog style camera, a little bit cheaper. I want to say I paid about 800 bucks, 1,000 bucks for that body. And the lens that I got with it was just a kit lens, 18 to 35 or something like that. Not a low aperture lens at all. I'm going to sit down here for you guys, but it was not a low aperture lens at all. It was like your basic kit lens that you'd pay a couple $100 for. And then I just slowly upgraded from there. And my first upgrade is going to be this Sony FE 3.5 to 6.3 24 to 240. Now this lens is actually a really big workhorse. I know a lot of guys that still use this lens as solo filmers just because of the versatility behind it. It can get so wide and it zooms in very well. And if you have a crop sensor camera, you can double that millimeter length as far as your zoom capabilities. And it's a variable lens. It gets down to, like I said, 3.5 aperture, which is really good, and for filming in low light. So I really liked that lens. I've upgraded since then, but that's a lens I want to say you can get for about 1,000 bucks, 800 to 1,000 bucks. I haven't looked recently. Actually, this one's for sale if any of you guys want it. But that was a lens that got me basically started and got me in a lot of doors as far as my ability to create nice looking photos and video out of one single lens and one relatively small investment when you're talking about getting into the camera gear. But as far as that A6400, I ended up upgrading just because I wanted the full frame capabilities, the better low light, the higher quality of the video, and at the end of the day using more high quality lenses with that camera. So I ended up selling that camera and I upgraded to this A7 III here, which has been a part of everything I'm doing, my work, for roughly 5 years now. And the thing's a beast. It's created a lot of cool stuff for me. The only downfall with this camera now is when Sony came out with the A7 IV and the A7S III, they didn't include Syntone with this camera. So this camera kind of had its limits as far as color grading, but regardless, it did the job and it will continue to do the job. It's a fairly affordable camera nowadays. I want to say this camera, you could pick up the body for $1,500 to $1,800. So that's a pretty minimal investment for the quality that you're getting out of this camera. Full frame capabilities, high ISO ability, very good in the low light with that ISO. You have all your manual settings. You can customize this camera really nicely. You have the ability to shoot in full frame, 4K 30 frames a second, 1080p and 120. So it's got everything you could possibly need as far as just a casual outdoor filming, solo filming your hunts, creating some decent content and some cool stuff in the outdoor industry. But as you kind of progress, you're going to need to eventually upgrade, and that's kind of where I found myself here recently. Actually, a couple years ago, I probably should have upgraded, but I'm kind of a minimalist when it comes to having all my gear and making things work regardless of maybe the price tag or the fanciness of it. But as far as solo filming as a beginner, I've always run these muddy camera arms. I at one point had what's called a third arm camera arm. Those tree arms, they're not made anymore. Dean Scott used to be on Matthew's Dominant Bucks as a solo cam pro. He actually started that camera arm company, but they're not making arms anymore. So unfortunately, I sold that camera arm that I did have, and I can't seem to put my hands on another one, unfortunately, because that was a rock solid camera arm. Awesome, had a lot of good adjustments, and it was very solid and sturdy, and I really liked that camera, and I wish I could get that camera arm back. But I've been using the muddy arms, and they've held up great. I've got to do a little bit of customization on this one. This is the Pro arm. I would like to cover this in athletic tape, get it dampened as far as the sound goes a lot. This is the Pro base here. This is a silent ratchet strap. It came with this. I bought this camera arm used. I don't know if they make this Pro anymore, but the silent ratchet strap's awesome. As far as your adjustment capabilities, you mount this thing on the tree. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of metal bending. I've cranked this thing on trees for a few years now, and it's a little bit bent up on these teeth. But as far as adjustment goes, it's very quiet. You just screw this handle up or down to adjust your angle. As far as twisting your leveling piece here, you loosen these two cinch nuts, and you just adjust this piece from there. But I've had really good luck with this arm. It's solid. You're not going to get it overly tight because of that cinch silent ratchet strap, but at the end of the day, you can work it a couple times, snug it up, cinch it again, snug it up again, and get that as tight as you need it to be for solo filming. You got plenty of reach with this arm. It expands like this. It's starting to get a bit noisy. I might have to oil it up or something to try to alleviate some of that. But as you can see, you've got your bubble level right there. Get that as close as possible. And I use a Manfrotto head on top. It's the 2.0 something head. It's the professional model. And I mount that to, this is another upgrade that I've made over the years, is Sony 70-200 2.8. This is your big boy. This is going to be your high quality filming. Legit TV stuff is going to be with this lens. And like I said, before I really got into the industry and was creating important content and stuff that's getting seen by a lot of people, I was running this 24-240, and that did the job just fine for me. So at the end of the day, if you ended up picking up an A7 III and picking up this lens right here, you're looking at about $1,500 on the light end for this camera body. Like I said, I've used the A6400. That was a great camera. It did everything that I needed it to. It's got the slow-mo capabilities. I believe it had a really good low light capabilities as well. If you throw this 24-240 on there, you're gonna do just fine. And that camera's probably less than $1,000 now. I know they make, I think they're even up to the A6700s by now, a couple new models, and I haven't looked at those at all. Like I said, they're the crop sensors, so I'm not necessarily interested in that. But as a beginning filmer, that could be a perfect get in the game camera body for you. As far as a drone or anything like that, if you're looking to get into aerial photography or videography at all, this drone I've had since 2020. This is a Mavic Air 2, and it's kind of the middle of the road model as far as the body size and the capabilities of it. It's 4K. Doesn't have any slow-mo capabilities, nothing like that. I'm not sure on frames per second. I want to say probably about 30. But that is kind of your middle-of-the-road drone. It's done extremely well for me. I've crashed it multiple times. I put it at the bottom of a river one time. I think it was the Wisconsin River, actually, on a fly fishing trip. But that thing is a beast. I've only had one battery go bad on me, and I believe it was the one that was sitting in the bottom of the river. I actually could hear the thing running in the bottom of the river when it went in. So as far as durability and just capabilities of that thing and toughness, that thing is excellent. It's well worth it. I paid like $1,000 for it, brand new out of Best Buy. I want to say it's probably a couple $100 cheaper by now. Or they make, I know they make a lot of mini drones. I'm not a huge fan of those just because it's harder to, catch when you're trying to shut it down and get it back. I like to do the little twist when I bring this thing back down so I can just grab it and twist it and shut it off immediately. I don't like those little things. I feel like I could get it lost a little bit easier. But I just got the baseline model for the remote. They make remotes with screens now. I don't use those. As far as a microphone, this is a mic that I picked up a couple winters ago. I want to say it's a Joby Wave Pro or Waveform or something like that. It's just a hot shoe adapter, USB-C charger, internal battery here. Just your run-of-the-mill shotgun mic with a regular audio recording headphone jack plug-in. Plug that thing in right to your side jack here on the A7 III or whatever camera rig you're running, and just amplifies the internal camera audio recording capabilities. Does really well for you. As far as just a casual filmer, that's going to do you just fine. I'm actually filming on the Rode Filmmaker kit. It's a one-person lav mic system, wireless mic system, run-off AA batteries. Those have done really well for me. They're a little bit on the chintzy side, a little bit on the bulky side, but I think they were about $200 when I bought them brand new. I've been hard on them. They lasted very well for me. Been out in the elements, hunting, moving around. I've run through a couple lav cords, but that's to be expected in the rough weather that we're filming in. But as far as some of this other stuff, I know this is a GoPro Hero 8. I've used this a couple times as a second angle. It's done well. I just upgraded to a Hero 12 Plus to kind of upgrade what I've got going on with my setup. This thing's got internal stabilization that's just off the wall. Does really well. Really happy with that so far. This was on sale for about $300. Typical micro SD. It's got awesome bigger battery in it. Lasts a little bit longer. As far as your mounting system, if you don't want to go down the full camera arm mount, this is basically just a bow hanger arm with a ball head adapted to the top. And I want to say you can get these on Amazon for pretty cheap, less than $50 for sure. But basically you spike this in to the tree just like you would a bow hanger. And I've run a second angle camera with my big camera on it. That's what I like. If I only have one body camera, I'll run this over my shoulder and I'll just reach up, press that button to start recording and use it as a second angle wide on where I think that buck's coming. If I don't think I can manage a big camera arm and get him on camera, that's how I'll run that, so I can do interviews and stuff like that. If the kill shot's not that important to me, I'll run it like that just to get some sort of content, potentially get that kill shot from a second angle point of view over my shoulder. That stuff looks really cool. As far as now my mic setup as more of a professional kit, these are Sennheisers. They've got the XLR adapter with your receiver, and I'm running that on a 4-person or a 4-plug Zoom H6 handy recorder, so it's a separate track recorder. So a little bit more intense as far as recording on a separate SD card and then mashing it together in post-production, lining your audio up and doing it that way. So a little bit farther down the road as far as professionally now than I was when I started. But like I said, a lot of these cameras that are still very high quality when I started are going to do you just fine. Like I said, that A6400 is the one that I have experience with. I want to say I've touched and used the A6500 a couple times, but this A7 III has been a workhorse for me. It's been in my camera bag since 2019. Like I said, full frame capabilities, high ISO ability, good low light, a lot of high quality lens options for it as far as you want to go, really. And it's a great camera. It takes the new bigger battery, this NPFZ 100, so you're going to get longer battery life. These batteries are about 80 bucks a hit. Like I said, your GoPro setup, those GoPros are awesome nowadays. You can get these Hero 12 Pluses. I got this one on sale for 300 bucks. So I mean, you can get a couple of these GoPros if you want to just go that second angle route for the price of one of these, and you're good to go, and you're creating some 4K footage, excellent content, and you can stick them on virtually everything. I put one of these on my stabilizer for another point of view. You can mount one over your head. You can use different attachments to mount them basically wherever you want to. So this is kind of my film setup right now. I'm filming on an A7S III just because it's got the 60 frame a second 4K capabilities for me. That's a huge plus when it comes to filming high quality television for you guys at home, filming high quality YouTube videos. Being able to slow down that 4K footage is excellent. It's a huge plus. Like I said, I've got a couple other lenses here. This is a Rokinon 50mm prime, manual aperture. That's kind of why I don't use it all that much. Manual focus, manual f-stop aperture adjustment. This is a Tamron 24mm prime, 2.8. This is a really good lens. This one does have autofocus, but as far as using it nowadays, I don't really. I'm usually running my 24-70 f2.8 from Sigma. That's an art lens, and that's the one I'm filming this video on. And then running this 70-200 2.8 Sony G Master, and that's kind of the extent of where my lens ranges go. I like to have a 50. Maybe I'll pick up a 50 prime lens from Sony or something like that, Sigma Art, whatever. But yeah, this is kind of the setup that I've got running right now. I've got a gimbal sitting there. It's unnecessary just for cool shots. The drone's unnecessary. The external mic, wireless, the big handy recorder is unnecessary. Like I said, to get started, basically you need a 24-200. I know Tamron makes like a 24-150 now, maybe. I believe it's Tamron. Sigma's got some good options. This is the Sony, but this lens, it's been through the ringer. It's been a great workhorse for me. That's how I got my start. That's how I started making cool stuff. But that's basically all you need. Need yourself a solid camera arm. If you don't want to go that route, get yourself a second angle camera arm. Couple of these new GoPros and you're set to go. And maybe if you're in the market for a bigger camera, check out this A7 III or check out that 6000 series from Sony, and I think you'll be really happy that you did. They're great cameras. They've held up excellent for me. They've got a good weather seal. These cameras have both been out in snow and rain and cold temperatures, warm temperatures. If you get your settings set up right, You can customize all these different button options on this camera so you know exactly where everything's at. You can be quicker instead of scrolling through that menu page and try to find stuff. So this is what's worked for me. This is kind of a rundown on what I used to get started, kind of how it's evolved over the years. I like talking about this stuff. I'm kind of a camera guy at heart, but a hunter at heart too. So it's kind of evolved into two passions rolled into one, combining the two. It's been awesome for me. I love it. So if you guys have any questions or anything like that, drop them in the comments. As far as any other gear questions, let me know what you guys want to see as we progress down the road this fall for videos. I'm open to some requests for sure. I've got some other videos in mind here that I'd like to set up. I'd like to go through a complete rundown when I'm up in the tree and show you guys exactly how all of this looks in action. I think that would be helpful. I think it'd be cool to show you guys that, kind of how I run my tree stand setup. But other than that, that's all I got. I hope you guys have an awesome week coming at you here and getting ready for fall. So I'm headed off to North Dakota on Tuesday, which is tomorrow, and I'll be gone for at least a week filming TV, the Next Bite TV walleye fishing show. We're going to be out in, like I said, North Dakota, filming on Sakakawea. So it'll be a good time. Hopefully catch some big pigs, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.